The air in Accra was thick with the scent of roasted plantain. The bold and merciless sun cast its golden glow over the city as Yamoah drove through the bustling streets in his sleek black Range Rover. Life had been good to him. He owned several businesses, lived in a mansion in East Legon, and had never once struggled for money. His father, Obabini, was a wealthy and respected man. No one truly knew the source of his wealth, but many believed he was simply a savvy businessman who had made wise investments. Yamoah, his only son, had grown up in abundance, never needing to question the origins of their prosperity until now. It all started with Dokua. Dokua was Yamoah's girlfriend, a sharp and beautiful woman with piercing eyes that seemed to see through deception. She had met Obabini only once, and that one encounter had sent a chill down her spine. One evening, she sat Yamoah down and, with a shaky voice, whispered, "There's something you need to know about your father."
What is it this time? That he has a secret gold mine? That he was a prince in his past life?
No, this is different. It's disturbing. Your father wanted me to sleep with his dog before he could give us his blessing.
What?
He said it was the only way he could accept me into the family.
That's absurd. He's a highly respected man. He would never.
I refused. And after that, he started acting differently toward me, as if he knew something I didn't. That's why I ended things between us. I couldn't tell you then, but I'm telling you now.
Yamoah sat still, his mind spinning. He wanted to dismiss Dokua's words, but something about the way she spoke made his stomach churn. Was it true? Could his father be capable of such a request? Determined to find out the truth, Yamoah reached out to a few of his exes. To his shock, two of them confirmed Dokua's claim. His father had demanded the same from them, intimacy with a dog in exchange for his blessing. It's like some ritual. One of them said, her voice laced with disgust. At first, I thought he was just a perverted old man, but now, I'm not so sure. Yamoah felt sick. He had unknowingly introduced all his girlfriends to his father, thinking he was only being respectful. But now, he saw the pattern. The ones who agreed to his father's demands, their relationships with him flourished. The ones who refused, like Dokua, had always ended things mysteriously. Yamoah's new wife, Dokua, was different. She was the love of his life, and he had promised to build a future with her. She had met his father only once, and that one meeting had unsettled her.
I don't like the way he looks at me,
she confessed one evening.
It's as if he's studying me, waiting for something.
Yamoah knew exactly what it was. He had done his research. He had seen the pattern. And now, he knew the truth. One night, Obabini called his son into his study. The old man, dressed in a white flowing robe, leaned back in his chair and said,
"You know what you have to do."
Yamoah clenched his fist.
I can't believe it's true.
Boy, you think wealth comes from nowhere. There is a price for everything.
What kind of father does this? You used me to keep your wealth, didn't you?
It is the way of things. The woman you bring must pass through the dog first. That is the only way the wealth continues. If she refuses, you will lose everything.
Yamoah felt as if the room was spinning. He wanted to run, to scream, but instead, he swallowed hard.
I can't lose everything,
he muttered under his breath. That night, Yamoah went home to Dokua, his heart heavy. He loved her, but fear clawed at him. He couldn't afford to lose his businesses, his cars, his house. He couldn't start all over. So he made a decision. He convinced Dokua to meet his father again. At first, she refused.
I won't do something so disgusting.
But Yamoah pleaded. He reminded her of the life they could build together, the future they had planned. He told her that everything they had could disappear overnight. With tears in her eyes, she finally agreed. The next morning, Dokua walked into Obabini's house, her heart pounding. The old man was waiting for her with his dog. His quest room was prepared for action. But at the last moment, something inside her snapped.
No, I won't do this.
Obabini's smile vanished. He stood slowly, his presence suddenly menacing.
Then your husband will lose everything.
Dokua turned and ran out of the house. True to Obabini's word, within weeks, Yamoah's businesses crumbled. Contracts were lost, bank accounts were frozen, and deals mysteriously fell through. His mansion was seized, and his cars were repossessed. He was left with nothing. One evening, as they sat in their small rented apartment, Dokua looked at Yamoah and said,
You did this to us?
He could not meet her eyes. He had let his greed control him, had let his father's twisted ritual destroy the life they could build. Dokua shook her head.
I should have asked more questions before I married you. I should have known that your wealth came at a price. I should have done my due diligence.
With that, she walked out the door, leaving Yamoah alone with the ruins of his once golden life. And somewhere, in the darkness of his mansion, Obabini sat in his chair, smiling to himself. The cycle had been broken, and with it, the last of his fortune had faded away. For the first time in his long life, he felt the true weight of poverty creeping in.